Begynte akkurat å streame. Sorry about that. Hello. So yeah, things are really coming together. Had a lot of really nice conversations about impact and um, what we kind of should focus on in terms of the problem it's actually solving. Um, we have a presentation, we have the technical deep dive video. I've updated some deep dive documentations. Now we explain how we're resolving stores, even the one on teamwork. But yeah, but we also have this like reference app. And I thought we could just try like using it and see if it's actually working. And then whenever we find an issue, we can fix it and kind of review the code at the same time. One thing I'm curious about now is that because we used to have family scrum v2 .firebase.app. Is that the URL? No. Firebase dashboard. There we go. I can't remember the URL of this thing. Go to console. My demo. Which one is it? Is it Family Scrum 2? Oh, I think it's this one. Is it? Oh, come on. Or is it V2? I think it's V2. Yeah. Okay. Where the hell is the build hosting? Oh, wait a minute. No, it's on Vercel. Family Scrum Vercel.app? Yeah, here it is. Let's see. So I'm just gonna sign in on the current production version. And then I'm gonna try, because previously, like maybe we can take a look at that. So we have this grocery store, and the grocery store is now using the groceries coming from React, because those groceries are basically we have this, let's see, do I call it the app store? Yeah, the app store is the thing that kind of keeps a collection of all the data and keeps it up to date. So when we pass the groceries into the grocery store, it starts in the app store and it's consumed by React, and it's kept, like React will reconcile, right? But then React passes those oh, 2 seconds. Yeah, and then React reconciles and keeps the groceries prop in the grocery store up to date. So in theory, we should see when I add something here, it should pop up here, and it does. That's kind of cool. So you're more in control of, okay, I'm passing this prop into this store. Do I want to keep it up to date from React, like from React's reconciliation, or like, yeah, basically? Or do I want to just unwrap it here and then keep my own reference to it? So when I'm editing a to-do, for example, I don't want to keep that to-do up to date inside the store. I just want the initial, like the initial version of the to-do. So I just unwrap it in the store, and then nothing can like override changes to it. It's very interesting. Anyways, so then we have you get into yeah, I can like, I don't want to test everything. I just want to test like, does the, what's this, dinners, to do's, get that. Oh, reading pop. So this is in edit to do. Yeah, views is actually coming from the App Store. Change that. Probably don't use the apps in global store anymore. Oh, look at this. What happened there? Image promise in edit dinner. We don't really use this feature. What did it say? Image promise is not defined. That's in. Oh, sorry. It was in the store, wasn't it? Was it? Image promise? No. No, it's in edit dinner TSX. Where the hell is that thing? Render image. Oh, here we go. So it says image promise is not defined. Where's image promise coming from? Why does it say it's undefined? Oh, of course. I see now. Because we're like, there isn't an image, basically. Oh. Wait a minute. What am I doing here? No. It should be an image promise. Why isn't there an image promise? It says is not defined, as if I'm wondering if this is because I'm moving it down here. Is this a hoisting thing? But that's weird to me. Well, I guess we'll see it as undefined, but I'm very curious. Image promise. Doesn't quite make sense to me. In render image. It's not defined. This must be a hoisting thing. Why does it say it's not defined? It's defined up here. Let's look at it here. I find this very curious. Or did I move it into the wrong component maybe? No. I should clean this up. This component is way too big. Oh. Oh, I did move it into the wrong. No. What the hell is going on there? No idea what's going on there. I have a feeling it's a hoisting thing. But this is kind of new to me. I didn't know. I have a feeling I'm gonna learn something about JavaScript debugging this. So I have the image promise. It's a promise. Is it because I'm calling it? Wow, this is fascinating. So is this because when so as this function is running, right? I have my image promise here and all is good. And then we have render image, which happens like down here. So it's like synchronously calling render image. And then for some reason, image promise is not defined. As if it's like, it's not like it's undefined, it's not defined. Okay, so, but let's just fix that render image. That's interesting to me. So when you're synchronously calling a function that's hoisted, this is very weird behavior to me. What if I just move it above the return statement? I find this to be very, very strange. No, it's still undefined. What the hell is happening here? It's here. What the hell? And what if I do const render image? That's a huge ass gotcha with hoisting. So it can't access. Huh. That's very interesting. Okay. But anyways, we fix that. And then I think like the main. Yeah. What about this? I wonder why this goes to add to do, because this normally triggers the. Yeah, but we can keep. I want to change back to add to do because we're not like comfortable using the AI for this, even though it was a cool project. Let's see. Draw a trigger. Chat icon. Let's change this to. What's the to do icon? Do I have like a to do icon? Yeah, it's the check icon. Let's do that instead. Is there like a plus? What am I using? Hero icons. Check. Oh no, I used a plus, right? Just a plus. Yeah, let's do that. Plus icon. Plus icon. Though I do wonder. Yeah, it's edit to do. I wonder. Maybe I made that change and then I didn't deploy it. Might be. Okay, so I think this is fine. My partner is probably gonna be upset with me deploying this. But the point is that it's running. That's the important thing. And then I'll just fix any last bugs. But let's do like a quick review of this thing. So from what perspective? So let's go to main. So in main, we have this global store that we're using. And this is, well, it's a global store, so we just use it. And in this global store, we are looking at authentication. So if we're authenticating, we're showing the skeleton If we're unauthenticated, we show the sign in, and we also bring in the update model. And if we're authenticated, we have a user and a family. And currently, these things I can't remember if they update or not. Like, we keep them. I think it does. Yeah, it does. So if the state of authentication changes, of course it changes. So it's listening to Firebase authentication or the auth state change, and it will go back to like unauthenticated if you're signed out. Also here, we mount the App Store provider, giving the actual user and the family. So what I meant to say is that I don't think we actually listen to any updates to the user or the family itself. But we could do that, and that would actually could be used as signals inside the App Store provider. And then we use a key here, which is really unnecessary because you can't be signed in as one user and then change to a different user. But like, what this key, which I also like about this concept of nested stores, is that by adding a key to the store, you're basically saying you're protecting it. So in this case, we're protecting it behind this unique identifier of the user. So anything that's defined nested by this App Store provider will be completely gone if the unique identifier of the user changes. Anyway, so we mount our app and the update model. So let's go and look at the app. So in this app, we're using, well, the App Store. And I'm using like this concept of views because I don't use a router. I could have used a router, but it's a very simple app. So I'm not using that. Let me just double check my notifications there. So if we're on the dashboard, we create a dashboard. If we're grocery shopping, we mount groceries, checklist, or plan next week. I think this is where these views kinda, well, it doesn't break down, but I added these like subviews later, so it kind of shows that maybe we should use have used what's it called? A router here. And when we're editing a dinner, we go yeah, and that's another thing. So with these views, I'm actually, since it's not a route, I'm actually adding the actual dinner order to do that you're editing as opposed to its ID. But anyways, no biggie. What I wanted to check though, plan next week. Oh. Yeah, because here I'm like, am I showing the dinners? So this would be this one. Am I showing the to-dos, or am I showing the dinners? And this could more naturally be behind routes, right? But doesn't matter. So let's see. Oh, sorry. We were on the app. So let's jump into the dashboard. So the dashboard is using the App Store. It's creating all these menu items. And if the groceries are fulfilled, we're going to show the length of those groceries, or we're going to show 0, which is nice that you can just inline that and it will just work. It's also with derived, like it's really like, I don't know, it's not obvious how powerful this first class concept of promise is with signals, but when you do that, you can even derive asynchronous values. So in a derived, you can do the same thing. I could have a derived called groceries count, and I can do exactly the same thing inside that derived. So you can even like derive asynchronous values and giving like a default value, and it's really, really interesting stuff. And then, yeah, blah, blah, blah. We're basically just showing the thing, which is nice. Yeah, and here we have drawer content. Oh, so here I'm just, oh, interesting. Drawer trigger. Well, we don't need this one anymore. I want to keep the assistant because it's cool. You know, I'm just going to keep it here. We're not going to change anything. Maybe I want to do something with it later, but currently we're just changing the view to edit to do when we click that plus. Yeah, I guess that's it. And yeah, we don't really need to check that much. Like checklists is using, I like to put the using at the top. We're just using the App Store. We are grabbing the to-dos with checklist. And then we create a to-do item for each of them. And a to-do item takes a to-do where we, oh, this could be better. Oh no, sorry, to-do item content. We already have that. Great. So we pass in the to-do, and that's doing the state management. So to-do item store provider. We can see here now that we are indeed unwrapping the to-do to the initial to-do, and then we create a signal out of that. So this will be like the initial state of this to-do is what's going to be exposed to the component tree. Clean up Firebase. Oh, but I am, okay, this is kind of weird. This shouldn't be here. So I was subscribing to changes to the to-do, which we shouldn't do. I'm not doing any handling of errors here. So what I should really do here is, that could be a feature, is that we have a signal that represents mutating the to-do, like saving to-do. Maybe we can do that. Saving to-do, which is a signal, which is a promise of void or undefined. So whenever we go in and we actually okay, even deleting, like what if it fails, right? What if it fails to delete the thing? Oh, our daughter is coming home. I have to stop streaming. Sorry, that was too bad. Or let me just check if they're okay. We're fine, actually. They were heading out again. That's great. Okay, so let's see. Where's this being used? So archive to do. Oh, look at this. Actually have use App Store. And use App Store. Okay, so archive to do. I think what we're doing here is. Oh, interesting. So we have. Oh, look at this. So we have a local archiving state. Okay, so let's do that. That's a fun thing. Instead of having this like archiving state, we're gonna create an archiving signal. Wait a minute, what is this? Set timeout? Why are we... Wait a minute, is this UI related? Oh, sorry, this is UI related. I'm showing this like confirmation thing, which is actually kind of cool. And then we call archive to do. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm messing up with the UI here. So archiving it to do is like you're dragging it. Oh, sorry, you're clicking it here. And then it shows this nice confirmation animation, and then it archives it. But it might error, right? So it makes sense to me that this archiving should be here because this is related to the animation. But another thing is actually calling archive to do. And these are the kinds of things we very often don't implement in UIs, is handling these asynchronous states, especially with React, because it's so, like, it feels bad. Like you archive to do, you're running a promise in a component, and then just the fact that you might navigate away from that component and unmount it, and then you change the state in the component because you have a running promise in like this unmounted component, and then you get an error, and then to actually properly handle it, you have to use an onboard controller, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of horrible. But this is what these signals really helps you deal with. I'm just reflecting on like what would I want the actual UI to be like. I guess, yeah. So what we could do, so let's rename this to, what is this? Archiving. Rename symbol. Confirming archiving. Rename this symbol to... They can be... Sorry, our daughter is like, it's a planning day at school, so they're home, and I have to make sure they don't go and grab stuff from the cabinets. I think we're okay. Set confirming archiving, and then we're just gonna, just for the sake of like implementing something. Oh my god. Which was this? Edit to do store. Was this edit to do store? Use to do item store. Sorry, I shouldn't maybe name these. No, it's a good name. to do item store. I'm kind of confusing it with editing it to do. We're not editing it to do now. We're just looking at it to do. So we're gonna have archiving here, and when we're archiving, so we're just gonna shove this thing in there. So now we suddenly have this new thing, which is a signal that shows us if we're actually archiving. So what we're able to do now is that we can actually show an error. And the question is like, what do you want to do? Maybe you rather wanted to show a notification. And in that case, you will probably have a notification store and you would just add a notification there. I think I have to go downstairs. 2 seconds. Sorry about that. I don't trust them. Okay, so we're archiving. So that means that we can actually show like an error. So we could say archiving. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing it here. So we can have archiving and then archiving status equals rejected. We're going to show something rejected. Or we're going to do null. So we're going to steal the confirmed. Let's call it rejected tsx. Rejected. Why is this? That's weird. They have to import React? That's weird. Not sure why. Class checkmark cross or something. So this is class name checkmark circle. Where is this coming from? Where did I create this? Checkmark check. Ooh. Checkmark. What the hell is this? I can't remember when I implemented this. Okay, so I think I created this thing. Yeah. Ooh. You know, let's just don't use an SVG there. And then we're going to use BG red 500 or something. And then we're going to say, oh no. Yeah, sorry. So we have to check. We might not even have a promise of Okay, that's basically it. So what we're gonna do is just go in here and actually just reject it. So let's say archiving new promise. Does it really need to be? No, we can just say promise.reject. You are blah. Something like that. So when we're planning our next week. Whoa, what happened there? Oh, interesting. I actually seen this before. We're gonna check that. Oh shit. Yeah, exactly. So now we have an error. Oh. I didn't think of this. Wait, this shouldn't be an unhandled runtime error. Why is this an unhandled runtime error? No, it should be. Sorry. So the point is, like, if you're so if we're archiving, oh, this is so interesting. I remember reflecting on this for signal promises. Should because you want to use them both in components and in your logic. So you want to be able to run a try catch around those promises. You know what? Maybe it is better. Maybe it is better behavior that the promise swallows the error. And then is it? No, it isn't. Yeah, we need to document this because like you might expect now that it's like the signal should just be rejected, right? But we are actually running a promise here. And when you consume it, you want to, I guess that's the thing. I only want this error to run if I actually consume the promise. If I actually consume the promise. Because the problem is if so in the signal, we're consuming the promise and we do catch, but then we throw the error again. Wow. Okay. It was a good thing we did this because I need to reflect on this. Create promise. Create observable promise. So this is where we consume the promise. And when there's an issue, we catch the error and then we create a new rejected promise. And that rejected promise needs to be caught somewhere. I'm trying because we're doing this. Yeah. Like it makes sense if you add a promise to a signal that indeed yeah, I need to reflect on this one. I remember implementing this specific thing, and like what should the throwing behavior be when you put a promise into a signal. And in some sense, you kind of want it to not throw an error like it did now. Like it even caught me off guard because it's so long since I've implemented it. But you have to make the promise itself a rejected promise. That's really important. So if you were to consume the signal promise, it's an actual rejected promise. But doing so will also make it an unhandled promise in this case. But it makes sense. It does make sense that if you do a promise reject and you don't have a try catch, I think I'm actually unsure about that. You know what? We're going to do a stream tomorrow. We're going to review the throwing of the signal promise to see what we would actually expect from it. Because if I just create a rejected promise, that doesn't cause unhandled rejection, right? Like if I were to just do this, like that shouldn't. Oh yeah, and we need to fix that thing. Oh, it does. Okay. So what would we actually do here? What would we actually do here? Like if I want to create a signal that potentially goes wrong, I actually would want that promise to catch it. Oh, this is like, is the problem here that I'm actually just using, you know what? I'm going to try something. Is it because I'm like synchronously adding a rejected promise? Because that's a weird thing to do. Let's try something. So let's simulate that it's actually doing something. Let's see. Reject. So after a second, which is like crazy long time, but oh, I think that's fine. Does it behave the same? So it does that thing. Yeah, it does the same thing. Yeah, because I would like, as a developer experience, if I put a promise into a signal, I would like it to, like, it should be a rejected promise if I choose to unwrap it. But and I would do like a try catch around it. But as long as I don't unwrap it, wow, this is... Yeah, this is very interesting. I'm not sure what I will want from this behavior. Because if I catch it... Yeah, I remember now why you would want to... Okay, so this is interesting. So if I catch it here, this is going to be interesting. We can do this, I think. Why is this an error? This is void, right? So what's interesting about this? It's so laggy when I stream. It's weird. So what's interesting about this is that now it's not rejected, right? Because I am just catching it here. But if I move the catch down here, this is also interesting. I should fix that typing. Okay, we have some things we need to review here. Anyways, let's just do this for now. Because when I'm setting it, it's guaranteed that it comes back. But the type of this signal is that it could be a promise or undefined. But if you're setting it, it can't be undefined, right? Which is kind of weird. This is okay. This is something we have to deal with before release. Because now we should get the... it should be rejected. Oh, is it... Oh, come on. Oh, what did I do? It is rejected. Oh, interesting. Why doesn't it display? Rejected. Why doesn't it show? Does it need to be after it? Oh, maybe this is like... Maybe it's just a C index thing. Let's try again. Why the hell isn't it showing? Oh, there it is. Yeah, no idea what that was. Yeah, maybe I removed something I shouldn't remove from the confirmed thing. Anyways, doesn't matter. But yeah, as I wanted to show you, if I do to do item store, if I put the catch on the thingy, it stays as a fulfilled promise. So this is how to make that like an obvious, intuitive developer experience. When you add a promise, what should happen when it's rejected? Ideally, it wouldn't show that overlay. That's the problem, real problem here. It's that it shows the overlay. I think. Well, in this case, I don't really care about, this is so interesting. So I don't, in this case, I would want it to kind of swallow the error. You know what? Yeah, that's it. I do want it to swallow the error. So when you put a signal, a promise into a signal, it will always turn out as, the promise itself will always turn out as a result promise. I think. No, that's not possible either. God damn it, this is... Okay, I have to think about this, because if it turns out as a result like this, it's the implementation. Like, if this catch doesn't return or reject, what do you return? There's no value there. It rejected. But if we do return a rejected promise, then you'll get this overlay. And stating that you had an unhandled promise. And the question is then, is it the overlay that's a problem? Because you would get an error in the console on this, that you have an unhandled promise. But you kind of handle it in the component, right? We checked its rejected status. Yeah, I need to think about this. And we're going to do a stream tomorrow after I've slept on it. And then we're going to figure out what we're going to do about that. Because it's definitely not intuitive. Like, the concept is incredibly powerful, but it also needs to be intuitive. Yeah, okay, cool. Thanks for tagging along. Bye for now.